I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my photo chats. Happy Saturday. So today we'll talk about my Rolleiflex project because I've been going and going and going and I've been making so many, and I ended up getting a story published in PetaPixel. And they did a story on how I made 500 photos of strangers from coast to coast. And if you can get some press on your work, that's always good because you're trying to be seen, you're trying to build a brand, you're trying to come up with a way to have some visibility in this place where there's so much work out there. And you can pitch those services. There's a place that says, send a tip to the editor. And I did that. And I said, hey, I made 500 photos in the last 9 months. I have a post on my blog about how I did it. And are you interested in that story? And they said yes. And then they worked it. They kind of rewrote their own version of my story. And then they published it. And it got seen by a lot of people because PetaPixel has a big user list. They have a lot of people who go to that site. So that was a really good feeling to be able to say I've got something out there that is being able to be seen in a place that is reserved for stories that are worthwhile being shared amongst photographers. I don't think there's much fame in the photography world. You might be famous amongst your peers. You might be famous in the art world if you're a William Eggleston, but he was from 1970. You might be famous in the photographer world amongst your peers, but there's no real famous photographers. Even a lot of people probably don't even know Annie Leibovitz's name, even though she's mostly famous because of the famous people she photographs. And most people, if they were sitting next to her in a cafe, wouldn't even know it's her. But there isn't a whole lot of fame in this business. That's not what it's about. But getting notoriety helps you to maybe get a book deal. Maybe get asked to be at a photography festival as a featured speaker. Maybe get asked to be a judge on a competition somewhere because they recognize that you have some authority in the photography world. And I like all that. I like teaching. I like being a person who I give talks at different photography groups. I like being a person who can have a lot of reach. I don't want to be a person who just makes photos and puts them away in my computer, puts them away in a box under my bed. I want to make photos and put them out there. I have gallery shows. If anybody's in Denver before the middle of July, there's one of my portraits from Venice Beach, California, and it's down at the McNichols building, which is part of right next to Civic Center Park. And there's an art show, photo show with probably, 100 different photographs. And you can go, it's free, and it's a gallery show that I enjoy exhibiting at. I want to be a part of exhibits. I want to make work that goes out there and gets seen by people. So if you are able to do any kind of a story on yourself, if you can pitch it to them, they'll interview you, or they'll talk to you, or they'll read your blog, they'll find out what do you do. You have to be somewhat communicative, but you can certainly do that. But it's important that we put our work out there. We are our own promoters. We're our own publicists. And the work we do is important. But if you're like me who wants to have it seen, sometimes you have to work a little bit to get it seen. And that's one way to do it. And that's one way I did it. And I'll put a link to the PetaPixel story below so you can see it. And then there'll be some more eyes on it. All right, that's Ace Photography Talk. Hey, if you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support it, it's a Patreon. Thanks to all my supporters. I appreciate every one of you. I'll be back next week. We'll talk more photography. As always, here's the good light.